Have you ever looked down at a railway track and wondered why it's always surrounded by millions of rough gray stones? No matter where you are in the world, the United States, Europe, or Asia, railway tracks almost always sit on top of a thick layer of jagged rocks. At first glance, it seems strange. After all, trains are some of the heaviest machines on land. So why would engineers place something so important on what looks like a loose pile of stones? Why not just bolt the tracks directly onto solid concrete? The answer turns out to be a brilliant piece of engineering that has been keeping trains safe for more than a century. A fully loaded train can weigh thousands of tons. If that enormous weight were placed directly on soil, the ground would slowly compress and shift. Over time, the rails would sink, bend, or even break, which could easily cause a derailment. The stones solved this problem. These rocks are called track ballast, and their main job is to spread the massive weight of the train over a larger area. Instead of all that pressure pushing into one small point on the ground, the ballast distributes it evenly, protecting the soil underneath. But the stones do something even more interesting. If you look closely at a railway track, you'll notice the rails are not actually anchored deep into the ground. Instead, they sit on wooden or concrete beams called sleepers, and those sleepers rest on the layer of stones. This means the track is technically floating on the ballast. That small amount of movement is important. When a train speeds across the rails, it creates huge vibrations. The loose but interlocking stones absorb those vibrations, preventing the metal rails from cracking under stress. And the stones themselves are not random. Engineers specifically use sharp, jagged rocks, usually crushed granite. Smooth, round stones would roll around like marbles, causing the track to shift, but jagged stones lock together like puzzle pieces, forming a stable surface that still has a little flexibility. The ballast also solves two other big problems: water and plants. Rainwater can quickly destroy a railway if it gets trapped under the tracks, but the gaps between the stones allow water to drain away instantly, keeping the foundation dry and stable. And because the rocks are sharp and constantly moving slightly, it's extremely difficult for weeds or plants to grow between them. That helps protect the track from roots that could weaken the structure. But here's a surprising historical twist. The word ballast actually comes from sailing ships. Hundreds of years ago, when cargo ships traveled across the ocean without goods, they were too light to stay stable in rough water. To weigh them down, sailors filled the bottom of the ship with heavy stones called ballast. When the ships reached port and loaded cargo, they would dump those stones onto the shore. Early railway engineers later discovered these piles of stones and realized they were perfect for stabilizing train tracks. They began using them beneath the rails, and the name ballast stayed. So, the next time you see those rough gray stones along a railway line, remember they are far more than just rocks. They are a drainage system, a vibration absorber, a weed barrier, and a foundation strong enough to carry thousands of tons of moving steel. A simple solution that has kept the world's railways running safely for more than 200 years.